Welcome and good morning. It's good to see all of you here, and it's so good to know all of you online or tuned in with us. And thank you, band, and thank you, Donna. That was absolutely amazing. So we absolutely have the best band, and we have the best singers, and it really fills me. Today I want to talk about how we can find happiness through utilizing gratitude in our lives. I call it Gladitude. Last week, our front yard was dug up by a contractor for MediaCom, and we warned them just before they started and just when before we left for a 3-day trip to Arkansas that we had previously had our invisible dog fence dug up, and we didn't want to pay the $200 to have it reconnected. Please watch out. Well, when we got home on Friday night and we were tired and ready to unwind, we discovered not only did they dig up our invisible fence, they also took out our internet and our television connection. And the worst of all, they broke the gas line, which took out our hot water heater. So I'm not going to tell you how I reacted, but I can tell you that my wise wife, Sue, kept telling me, "Be in gratitude. Paul, go read your talk again. Be a gladiator." For this talk, I want to give a little bit of scripture and a little bit of new thought. I'm going to be addressing psychology and anthropology. And I'm going to show that gratitude is more than just always being optimistic. It has tremendous benefits both to the giver and to the receiver. In fact, the giver is the one who benefits most. So let's get started. We're going to do our meet and greet in just a moment, but I want you to really focus on what you appreciate about the people that you meet. Especially those you don't know or you don't know well. Now, I've put a few statements of gratitude up here. These came just off the top of my head. I'm not going to read them. You can look at them if you want. So I want you to find a few people in the sanctuary, and I want you to tell them something that you love, like, or appreciate about them. And you can easily use any of these if you choose to, but otherwise just use your own. Make sure everyone here gets attention and involved, and if you see someone on their own, please go up to them. So let's just take 2 minutes. Let's begin. Meet and greet. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you all got to participate. Thank you. That's what I love about the Unity crowd. They just can't stop being happy. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I hope you all got to participate. If not, you are seen and loved, and we're so glad you're here. Didn't that feel good? Now, I'm going to tell you, if on any day you receive 9 compliments, just like what you just got here, but you received 1 criticism, your percentage of receptive gratitude would be 90%, right? But what are you going to dwell on when you get home? The 1 criticism. You see, there's this thing called negativity bias. Negativity bias is one of the most well-established findings in psychology and neuroscience. It helps explain why gratitude is such a powerful spiritual and psychological practice. Not because it ignores suffering, but because it helps restore balance to a mind that naturally gives more weight to the negative than the positive. Okay. Negative bias is a tendency for our brains to notice negative events more quickly than positive ones, to remember painful experiences longer than pleasant ones, to learn more readily from fear than from reward, to allow 1 criticism to outweigh many compliments, and to anticipate danger even when we're generally safe. Now, we're all born with this. We all still carry it, some more than others, but it is in us because our ancestors survived by paying close attention to danger. Over thousands of generations, natural selection favored brains that constantly scanned for danger. Our ancestors who paid extra attention to threats were more likely to survive longer. The result is that modern humans inherited brains designed for survival. The amygdala, involved in detecting threats and emotionally significant events, responds rapidly to negative stimuli and helps prioritize them for attention and memory. Stress hormones such as cortisol also strengthen memories associated with danger. Gratitude is one of the few human qualities that is simultaneously praised by nearly every major spiritual tradition and extensively studied by modern psychology, neuroscience, and medicine. Interestingly, these 2 streams, ancient wisdom and modern science, often arrive at similar conclusions. Gratitude changes not only how we think, but how we relate to ourselves, to others, and to life itself. At its deepest level, gratitude is more than saying thank you. It's a way of perceiving reality. Gratitude retains attention. Every time we intentionally notice something good, we strengthen neural pathways that notice abundance instead of only danger. Over time, this becomes more automatic. When we experience a beautiful sunrise, a kind word, laughter with friends, good health today, enough food, clean water, and forgiveness, we are filled with happy hormones, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins. Gratitude reduces stress. Studies consistently find that grateful people often report lower stress and better sleep, greater life satisfaction and lower levels of depression, greater optimism and stronger resilience. Gratitude activates emotional states associated with safety and connection, which can help quiet the body's chronic stress response. Gratitude improves relationships. People who regularly express appreciation tend to strengthen friendships and build trust, deepen marriages, encourage coworkers. When we tell someone, "I appreciate you," both people often experience a boost in positive emotion. You just did that moments ago. Gratitude increases resilience. Grateful people still experience tragedy. Healthy gratitude does not mean pretending everything is wonderful or denying suffering. It doesn't mean ignoring injustice or suppressing grief. Instead, gratitude widens our field of awareness. When we intentionally practice gratitude, we train the brain to notice resources as well as threats. Over time, people begin noticing acts of kindness, beauty, opportunities, supportive relationships, and moments of peace. The dangers don't disappear. Our perception becomes more balanced. Gratitude fosters humility. Gratitude reminds us that much of what enriches our lives come by gifts that we do not create ourselves through parents and teachers and friends and nature, opportunities and community. Recognizing these gifts can cultivate humility rather than entitlement. Gratitude encourages generosity. When we feel we've received much, we're often more inclined to share. Research suggests grateful people are more likely to volunteer and to forgive, to help strangers, to donate and cooperate. Gratitude can transform a mindset of scarcity into one of abundance. Repeated gratitude practice appears to strengthen neural pathways associated with noticing positive experiences. Neuroplasticity means the brain changes through repeated experience. Every grateful thought is in a small way practicing different mental habits. The opposite of gratitude is something psychologists describe as the hedonic treadmill. It often includes feelings of entitlement, chronic dissatisfaction, resentment and envy, bitterness and cynicism. Without gratitude, happiness declines. Comparison increases, relationships weaken, generosity decreases, and stress rises. Psychologists often describe your brain as having two modes. These two broad modes of thinking are fast mind and slow mind. Fast mind means you overreact way too fast and go into stress. Slow mind means you take the time to think things through before making healthy judgment. The fast mind takes us quickly into negativity bias. The fast mind is emotional and automatic, tribal, reactive, and it seeks certainty. The slow mind is reflective. It's curious. It's evidence-based. It's comfortable with uncertainty. And it's compassionate. If left unchecked, negativity, bias, and fast mind can subtly shape almost every area of life. It changes our relationships. One disagreement may overshadow years of love. Researchers have found that stable marriages typically require many more positive interactions than negative ones in order to thrive. It fuels anxiety. When our brain constantly scans for danger, it begins seeing danger everywhere. This can lead to excessive worry, difficulty relaxing, chronic stress. The body can become flooded with stress hormones, even when no immediate threat exists. It encourages resentment. Negative memories adhere. Without realizing it, we rehearse old betrayals, embarrassing moments, injustices, and regrets. Each replay strengthens the neural pathway, making those memories even easier to recall. It narrows our thinking. Negative emotions narrow our attention toward immediate problems, while positive emotions broaden our awareness, our creativity, and openness. When consumed by fear, people often become less creative, less curious, more rigid. It affects physical health. Long-term negativity and chronic stress have been associated with higher blood pressure, increased inflammation, poorer immune functioning, sleep problems, and depression. So what kind of things are trying to keep you in the fast mind and do it as subconsciously as possible? Excuse me. Emotional manipulation through certain news media and social media, political campaigns, certain religions, conspiracy theories, all can employ techniques to keep you in fast mind. Negativity bias is often used in propaganda. Negativity bias and propaganda are powerful because they exploit the normal features of the human mind that evolved long before television or social media or even modern politics. Wherever it comes from, emotional manipulation also follows a recognizable pattern. Create fear. Identify an enemy. Simplify a complex world into an us versus them. Repeat the message constantly and make people emotionally reactive rather than reflective. Once someone is afraid or angry, they're generally easier to influence. So what can you do to strengthen and train your attention toward gratitude? Wisdom requires deliberately returning to slow mind. Whenever you notice yourself thinking, those people are evil, or everything is falling apart, ask yourself, am I thinking or reacting? That single question interrupts negativity bias. Negativity bias constantly asks, what is wrong? Gratitude asks, what is also true? Both may be true at once. An example is that there is war. There are also people risking their lives for peace. There are injustices and tragedies happening every moment. But there are also countless acts of incredible kindness. Gratitude does not deny the suffering. It widens your field of vision. Develop relationships with real people. Propaganda thrives on stereotypes. Real relationships dissolve stereotypes. Limit outrage as entertainment. Media often competes for attention by amplifying our outrage. Because outrage keeps people engaged. Ask yourself after watching or reading something, do I feel more informed? Or am I simply more upset? Gratitude across religions often teach the same practices and outcomes. In Judaism, gratitude begins the day. The traditional morning prayer begins, I thank you. I now say this every morning. In Christianity, Jesus repeatedly gives thanks. Paul writes, give thanks in all circumstances. Notice he says in all circumstances. He doesn't necessarily say it for all circumstances. In Hinduism, the Bhagavad Gita encourages living in recognition that all life is a gift. In Buddhism, gratitude is fundamental. Practitioners cultivate appreciation for all beings. Mindfulness itself often develops into profound appreciation for ordinary existence Many indigenous traditions place gratitude at the center of community, often extending it beyond humans to the entire living world. Daily prayers offer expressions of gratitude to Grandmother Earth, Grandfather Sky, to animals and ancestors. Rather than viewing humans as separate from nature, people understand themselves as part of a larger web of reciprocal relationships. Gratitude is universal. Anthropologists suggest gratitude may have helped human societies survive. Communities with gratitude practices tend to encourage cooperation, trust, generosity, social cohesion, and resilience. These traits strengthen groups, making gratitude both a spiritual virtue and adaptive social strategy. Gratitude is more than an emotion. It is a spiritual way of seeing. It shifts our awareness from scarcity to sufficiency, from isolation to connection, and from fear to trust. Modern science suggests this shift benefits our minds and our bodies. Charles Fillmore often emphasized that we become what we habitually think about. Eric Butterworth encouraged people not to deny the world's challenges, but to center consciousness in the Christ presence rather than fear. H. Emily Cady wrote that our attention helps shape our experience. A unity perspective would be that negativity bias is part of our human biology, but it is not the deepest truth about us. Beneath the survival instincts of the brain lies the spiritual nature of the soul. Gratitude helps us remember who we really are, not frightened beings struggling through a hostile universe, but expressions of divine life, awakening to the abundance and beauty and love that have always surrounded us. Eric Butterworth often taught what you appreciate appreciates. Myrtle Fillmore spoke of gratitude not merely as emotion, but as a spiritual practice that opens the soul to divine abundance. When she says, praise is gratitude in action. Emma Curtis Hopkins said, praise is one of the strongest spiritual forces known to humanity. Charles said, we increase whatever we praise. The founder of religious science, Ernest Holmes, wrote, gratitude is a recognition that there is something in the universe greater than ourselves. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, the invariable mark of wisdom is to see the miraculous in the common. One of the remarkable things about New Thought writers is that they rarely viewed gratitude merely as politeness or positive emotion. For them, gratitude was a state of consciousness. It was a bridge from fear to faith, an opening to divine supply, a recognition that good is already present, and a spiritual law that multiplies blessings. A simple daily reflection can help counterbalance negativity bias. Ask yourself, what challenged me today? What helped me today? What beauty did I experience? Whom can I thank? And how can I express gratitude for tomorrow? This approach doesn't suppress difficult emotions. It integrates them into a fuller awareness. I'm going to leave you with one final affirmation, and let's say it together. Today, I choose gratitude over negativity, curiosity over certainty, compassion over contempt, and truth over fear. This week, employ gratitude in your daily practices. As Sue would say, be a gladiator. And so it is. Namaste.